And then when
Glasgow.
it comes to Liverpool, I could see them dropping points in about 3 of those games. But
3.
realistically, yeah,
Who?
Brentford, Man City, and Chelsea. I think they can drop points in all 3 of those games. And historically, Brentford away has been a tough ground for them.
No one really wants to play Brentford away, man. Arcs United, really, or
Yeah.
even us when they first got promoted. Villa, it all depends what they're looking like. Obviously, they're not the Villa of last season. Emery's kind of frauding up the place. I know Emery's not doing well because no Arsenal fan is doing the whole "did we sack Emery too early" type thing that they normally do. So let's look at Arsenal then. Yeah, obviously you said four wins and a draw, right?
I think we get 16 points from that.
You answered it perfectly. What's the most difficult game on paper, Defi?
Crystal Palace. And for Liverpool, it's obviously Man City. But the funny thing is, the away games have been difficult for us in the past, but these are two newly promoted teams, which we should be able to dispatch, even though they're newly promoted teams. And Fulham, who has been a thorn in our side. But I do think, as I said earlier, with the keys, we do have the keys to unlock some of these teams now. Eze's here, Saka's back, Gyökeres is in the building, and even if it comes down to late in the game, you now have Trossard and Martinelli come off the bench to against tired legs. We have tools to unlock these defenses, and I've seen Manchester City's great teams take until the final minutes versus newly promoted teams. Bournemouth, Raheem Sterling moment. There's going to be moments in the season
Even
where,
Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus, when they were winning titles at City, had those moments.
yeah, you're going to need everyone to pop up. But yeah, people keep this is common right here. If Arteta fails, then that's it. It's really just down to the manager getting it right because I think we have everything needed. We have all the ingredients to cook up a league title. I think we look around and the teams around us kind of helped us in Liverpool doing too much work. This transfer window really kind of put them in a situation where they lose that cohesion and that cohesiveness as a squad. And I feel like we have it. You look at Saliba, Gabriel, Declan Rice, Ray, we have that core of players who know each other so well. Saka, Odegaard, they know each other so well. We add a couple pieces here and there. Zubamendi walks straight in. Seems like he played with us for 10 years. Eze comes in, immediately he's getting goals and assists right, left, right, and center. Like you think he was the £150 million player, not Florian Wirtz. And then Gyökeres, people talk about Gyökeres not scoring too many goals, but he's doing his job to a good level. Like he's building up play. I think I watched your show a couple weeks ago. You said he was adapting already. Yeah, you can fully see it. Versus last week, just yesterday, the way that he was linking up play, he was doing everything that people said he couldn't do. The thing that people said he was great at, which is transition goals and finishing, he hasn't been as effective yet.
Shows you tacticals don't know the fuck they're talking about, bro. Because you can see just by watching 2 games of Gyökeres, he's not pretty. It's kind of ugly, but it's so ugly, it's beautiful. He's not here because he's Gabriel Jesus or these pretty footballers. He's here because he can do what all of the people who play as number nines previously at this club have failed to do. That's put the ball in the back of the net. Which obviously, and we'll get onto Gyökeres actually now, people, because for me, I do think he's adapting to the system. I do think I think he's getting better every game. I do think that a kind of a case of he kind of at one point I feel he adapted more to the system than we adapted to him. I will say this generally this season, I think Arteta hasn't played the free flowing attacking kind of football. In the last 2 games, Olympiacos and definitely Newcastle, I think the handbrake's gone down. I still don't think we're creating a bag of clear cut chances. But now it's like Arteta's got your play. He's doing what I need you to do. It's more Gyökeres. You haven't taken those half chances. Now, even against Olympiacos and to a degree Newcastle, Arteta previously, I think you crippled them. Now in those 2 games, you've got them to the finish line. They need to finish their dinner. Across the 2 games, there were several different opportunities. And the one thing I would say with Gyökeres is obviously sometimes his decision making weren't the best. But as Egal put there, yeah, when you watch him, it might not be the prettiest. And obviously there's pressure, but he's doing all the other things right. The flip side could be he could have had, I don't know, 8 goals in 8 games or whatever. But we're not seeing all of these things. Kind of what like the same rhetoric with everybody just shutting up because Liverpool are winning games where you could see the cracks. I think it's a matter of time. But yeah, the last 2 games, I don't think he's done what he's needed to do. And I think the manager's come out and defended him. We'll get on to Gyökeres, but a player I
Well,
love and that you love, go on, Egal.
I feel like people are chasing perfection with everything. And that's why they're so upset about every drop point. But in actual reality, you're going to drop points throughout the season. Let's not be like flipping and think every time we drop points it's over. It's not doom and gloom.
You're preaching to the deaf there, Gal, man. It's not that it's wrong, but you know how us Arsenal fans are, and especially on social media, like it's never gonna change, man. It's never gonna change. What do you make of Odegaard's performance yesterday, man? In fact, before well, yeah, to answer that, and then also let me know, do you think Odegaard has stepped up because Eze's walked in the building?
After one injured season, you guys wrote him off. We're ready to sell him. Have shame on yourselves. Shame, shame. Honestly, the shame. Some of these fans, they were saying he's not better than all these random names that you bring up. They're thinking all these random guys are better than him. He's clearly still one of the best teams in the league. He's clearly still one of the best creators. And this is what competition places does for you. As good as Ethan is, he's not going to get these kind of levels out of a player. He's not going to get Odegaard feeling like his place is at risk. You bring in Eze, Odegaard raises his levels, not only because he has competition, because he also has to show people I'm the captain. Coming back from fitness issues, now you see what he's capable of doing. And people had the audacity to say, oh, the reason why he's not looking as good is because Havertz or Saka or this person or that person. It was really down to the way that he was being utilized was very different because he had to make up for a lot of lack of quality in other areas of the pitch. This past couple of games, if you look at where he is drifting in that heat map, he's more central, more yes to the right hand side centrally, but there's been games last season where he was basically being a right back or right winger or right
Even in the
midfield.
last two games, he's getting on the left. He's getting on the left hand side, which I'm loving. He's
Yeah,
dropping it a bit more deeper. I feel he still has a lot to defend, like a lot of defensive duties. But I think Arteta has kind of like took them away from him and distributed elsewhere. And you're seeing good now. The challenge for Odegaard is, can you do this on a consistent basis? Newcastle step in the right direction. Champions League nights, lovely. Remind these lot who you are, Martin Odegaard, please.
formation change. I feel like that's the main tactical change. The tweak has been before Rice and him were basically operating on different sides of the pitch. Now that as they played in the 10, they're like, you know what? Just switch Declan Rice deeper. Have whoever's playing the 10 have the capability of drifting, and that ability to drift gives them more capability to break the lines on the left and on the right. And if you haven't seen it, the last two games, the ball to Saka, the ball to Miles Lewis Skelly versus Newcastle and in the Champions League when Saka scored his goal were the same pass on the left side.
The build up play to the corner, one of the corners as well.
Yeah, and the corner for the goal. But overall, I just feel like this is what he's capable of when he plays well. And a lot of people counted him out and thought he was finished because he's injured and he had a couple of injury issues. And now we have that same issue with people talking about Ben White like he's finished. It's disgusting.
I'm not gonna lie. We'll jump forward towards Ben White. We got a lot to discuss. Where is it? I'm not gonna lie, yeah. Ben White, obviously, just he's back being he's back being. We've gone over Gyökeres. He's back being fully fit and all of that, yeah. But I felt like this was a consistent sight I was seeing yesterday. Like, I understand you're rusty and all these things, but it felt like Arteta kept having to hold your hand. And as much as not playing plays a part, when I'm like, is not playing and needing fitness, is that an excuse for poor decision making, getting caught? I understand in the second half. But yeah, White, I don't think you're gonna take Timber's spot anytime soon. But yeah, what did you make of White? Because for me, I like the fact that Timber came on. I thought he would have went Mascara right back, but I think White needed to come off. The only silver line is we just need White to get minutes regardless.
You know what? If you have a Ferrari, you're not going to drive it. You're going to drive. You're always going to compare it to other cars, but you're not
We
going to
still need
compare it.
White.
But you're not going to compare it to your BMW. You know what I mean? I think at this moment in time, Ben White's the BMW, Timber's the Ferrari, and we know Timber's the better player. He's going to play 9 times out of 10. But White, he's still a very useful player, and he's going to play a lot of games, and he's going to still be better than a lot of other people's right backs. Let's be honest, Man City would take Ben White in a heartbeat right now. You look at what's going on at Liverpool with their struggles at right back. He would definitely get a game over Szoboszlai and some of these other guys that are playing at right back for them. So I'm not
He's still rated
necessarily.
by Tuchel as well.
This is the luxury you have when you have quality players across the pitch. They're gonna push each other, and I don't have any doubt in my mind. Once he gets match sharpness and he's back to getting match fit, he's gonna see better performances from him. Because how many games has he played? He went from not playing at all to having to play almost a big majority of those games minutes. So I don't think it has anything to do with his lack in quality. It's just simply match sharpness. You have to build that up.
from one fullback to another, Miles Lewis Skelly, who for me to go with Odegaard, Raya, head and shoulders above their teammates, man. What do you make of Miles Lewis Skelly? Because admittedly, Calafiori ain't put a foot wrong. I wish Hincapie was fit, but I think Arteta's got a decision to make, man. I don't know. I think he might put Miles Lewis Skelly in against West Ham, but then I also think Calafiori. What do you make of his performance?
I think he's better suited to unlocking defenses.
100%. Oh, it
So
depends, you know. It depends. It depends. Obviously, on the ball and not him, but sometimes Calafiori's randomness is a benefit. But I do want to see him on the pitch if Eze and Odegaard are there.
if I want a game scoring, now that he's also unlocked the crossing, Heinke's crossing work
Martinelli, come on, bro.
has
I
been
know
working.
what you're
Martinelli
talking
has
about.
to slap that in the net. First chance of the game, a cross from Mazu Skelly. Shout out to Mazu Skelly. I thought he's a great performance, and you can see where he is in the heat map. He's playing as an inverted fullback, doing his job, tucking in. Overall, though, there's going to be more than enough games for him to play. I feel like every single person who doesn't start or play week in, week out, or gets dropped or rotated for somebody else, the fan base loses their shit. And to see Maz Lewis Skelly's reaction after the game, celebrating with the fans, being so happy, it just
They're
tells
trying to
me,
pull his arm off like they would.
yeah, it just
Madness.
tells me that he's happy with the minutes that he's getting. He's happy with the opportunities that he's getting, and I still believe he's going to be in the conversation for Young Player of the Year. He's going to get a lot of minutes. Calafiori is an injury-prone player. He's going to play a lot of games if anything ever happens to
Hopefully, there's
Calafiori.
none injuries.
And even if Calafiori is not injured, there's going to be certain games that are more suited to his skill sets and helping us in the final third. So I have no doubt in my mind that Mikel Arteta will make it work and balance it out. And stop trying to move him into positions that he's not right now. Let's stop this. We have to play him as a left 8. We have to do this. We have to do that.
You don't want to see him in midfield?
No, let's just let the player play where he's playing right now. And if we need to move him to midfield, we'll do it out of necessity or when we feel like there's time where we can do that. Right now, I feel like we have a goal, and I don't want too much experimenting when we have a goal at hand. Let these
I hear
players
that.
the way they play.
I hear that. I hear that. I hear that. And maybe to a degree, yeah, a bit of what, and I don't want to do too much of two games, mainly one for me, Newcastle, because it was a breath of fresh air. Maybe we had to box smart and it just was, to be fair, maybe it wasn't the right moment. There's things I'm praising Arteta for, isolated that game, and I've been consistent since the start of the season. Maybe it wasn't the right moment, man. I got to ask you, man, has Arteta finally changed? Has he put the handbrake down? Because for me, breath of fresh air against Newcastle. We still, and this is everything I've been trying to tell you about for what I want from him. The defense, all that stuff is spot on, but we're going for it. We're breaking. Like, and then again, another game where we should have probably scored a bit more. Obviously, the biggest factor is obviously VAR. That's where I praise my boys, because in previous years, we could have lost that 1-0, been crying about refs, but we refused to accept reality. We controlled what we could control. So full of praise for me personally with Newcastle, for Mikel Arteta and the players. But like, what did you think? What have you made of Arteta? I guess forget defensively, like the midfield and the final third in the last two games. Like, has he changed? Is the handbrake down? Talk to me, man.
Arteta has a burner account. He's been seeing people's tweets,
Him and Rice are online, 100%.
yeah, but jokes aside, he sees the criticism, and I don't think it's nothing to do with the criticism necessarily. It's more to do with the level of opponent. You can do more against a
Even the way
Newcastle.
you're speaking about Odegaard yesterday about letting roam and stuff, it goes against the narrative of what people typically say. But go on.
But you know what? I think a lot changed in the back end of the Man City game. The way that he had the team set up in the back end of the Man City game, I think he realized he needs to get away from the double eights and the 6 and go to a double pivot, because some of these guys who play deep can also still drip forward even if they're playing in the double pivot.
I think he trusts everyone a bit more now, man. Like,
Yeah,
attack's the best form of defense.
so now instead of leaving behind, what is it, 5 players, we're now leaving 4 players in the defense, and 2 of them are midfielders, and the fullbacks are giving us the width. The players are all over the place, and the
And
person
then
in
we're
the
going to
middle.
defend anyways as well. Like, naturally, the whole team's smart enough to know what you need to do anyways. Even
Yeah,
Rice against Newcastle with that last, was it against Murphy? Can't remember, but I think everyone knows what I'm referring to.
and the passing range of all of our players, we use the whole pitch. When Eze has the ball and he sees Saka on the other side, he just pings it one touch to the other side of the pitch. We didn't
Enze's
do that
master.
before. We didn't do that before. We didn't have the capability to just say, you know what, we're just going to pass it to the other side of the pitch right now. Even though it sounds easy, We just didn't do that. We didn't use the width of the squad and of the whole pitch, and I really do rate that. But yeah, talking about Eze, I see
Even
you.
having Odegaard in this, this is what we was talking about. Me and a guy were referring to, like in these little
Look at
pockets,
where
you
Eze
see.
is. Look at where Eze is. Do you see where he
Even
is?
Eze and Saka swapping flanks, like Arteta, thank you. Like you're very stubborn, and I don't know if this is gonna stay. But you see, when you get it right, you make me very happy, Gaffer. Like sometimes you do too much. This is what I want to see. Of course, sometimes maybe the handbrake could go down even more. Sometimes we need to defend a bit more. But when I see stuff like this in the last two games, I keep saying it. These men are not finishing their chances. I can't look at you, Gaffer. So we can go up the gears. But you mentioned Eze, man. In fact, before you say what you want to say on Eze, yeah, who's better, Eze or Odegaard? Gun to your head, someone's got to play in that creative role. You can't have both. You going with Eze, going with Martin.
Do I need a goal or do I need an assist?
You're playing in the Champions League. Let's say this: you're playing in the Champions League final. If you win, you win. If you lose, someone's putting a gun to your head and your life's over. Egal. You need to win. Eze, a graphic example, I know, but Eze or Odegaard, whatever things you want to consider, you consider. But Eze or Odegaard, one of the two.
Right now, if I need a goal, I'm getting Eze.
I'm going towards Eze as well, man. I just
if I
mustard, man.
But I think they can both coexist.
100%. They're gonna need to.
If we need a goal and we need to win a game,
you might even go left wing against West Ham. I wouldn't
bro.
rule it out.
If we're playing tomorrow in a Champions League final, I'm playing both Eze, Odegaard, Saka, and if Nani Madueke gets back, I might even try a Nani Madueke thing in the team with those other guys all in the same squad.
I'll be real, Eze, Saka, you lot will play wide for me. I'll put Odegaard there. I'm going Rice and Zubimendi.
You could play a team with Eze, Rice, and Odegaard midfield, and Saka, Nani Madueke on both wing, and then Gyökeres up top, and just have Gyökeres.
Well, you could have Eze, Odegaard, and Nwaneri. I'd put Nwaneri like Wenger used to do, right wing. Saka got on the left. We've got tools, like you said earlier. We've got tools. We've got different things we can do, man.
But Saka on the left, I don't think we're going to see that often because he is.
No, I only want it in game. Swap in game. That's our best player. Like what you said, you don't want to change too much stuff. I'm not a fan of moving Saka from white wing to accommodate players that are not on par with him or better than him, with the greatest of respect to his teammates. It don't make sense to me.
But Eze, people also need to stop acting like they know everything. Because I was seeing people saying Eze is not an Arteta signing after one game where he's on the bench versus Liverpool. People saying Eze is always getting picked on by Arteta. Arteta's always saying Eze could have done more. He doesn't say that about anybody else. Why doesn't he ask for more from other people?
He said Odegaard should have scored. He said Gyökeres should have sgored.
Also, they said something about he treats Eze like a middle child. I was like, what? What are we talking about?
He might do, but it's too early in the season to draw any of these conclusions. It sounds good, but it don't make sense. And then, do you know what's, and I'm not saying these things are wrong, but do you know what smacks it, Egal? Because these same people that say this, yeah, they'll say, oh, it's a squad. It's a long season. Everyone's going to get game time. There's no guaranteed starters. We have to make unpopular decisions. You're not adhering to those things, if it makes sense.
And everyone's so ready to drop their non-favorite player, but they don't realize that sometimes dropping some of these guys doesn't make sense because they're very much crucial to our build-up play. Like if we were to just say Zubimendi's out the team for like 5 games, you're gonna realize how important he is at build-up play and pass, and his passing range is so key to us. So I don't necessarily think we should jump to the conclusion of just saying get rid of Zubimendi and play both of them together. Let the manager figure out what the best mission and combination is, because I think all these guys can coexist. And I've seen teams with much more quality coexist. Like those great Brazilian teams had so many great players. I don't know how they ever were happy sitting on the bench and
up until a few years ago, Man City, they had more great attackers than you could count. Somehow they made it work.
Real Madrid, you had Isco coming off the bench, and arguably he was the best creator in that Real Madrid team.
It's crazy. And you're right, Ariel, on this. If people think Arteta didn't have any say in the signing of Eze, they have lost the plot. Of course, there's other clubs where owners and chairmen and all of that stuff, they buy players without the manager. But at that point, it's an agenda because you can clearly see it's a collaborative thing. Come on now.
We can't have great things. I'm sorry. I need to have this rant. Big up to certain people, but guys like White Yardy, I don't know if he was making a joke. He's a cool brother, but he posted a picture of Ethan looking at Arteta, and I can send it to you. If you go on my Twitter, you'll see I replied to him. It was ridiculous. It's ridiculous. What are you doing? Why are you trying to draw up
I've seen
controversy?
our fans love to draw conclusions, mom.
Yeah, just because he's looking in a picture and you see Ethan and Max Dowman behind him. Why is this all of a sudden a talking point? Like it's something. Dowman's not getting minutes. Ethan's not getting minutes. I'm concerned. What are you
Because the
talking about? You're
fiction sells
concerned.
more than the actual story, Egal, man.
I swear to you, if Ethan was in the room with some of these guys, he would tell them, "Calm down. I'm 18 years old. I'm happy that I'm in the team." Let alone these guys are asking for 40 to 50 games played for the 18-year-old. They need to relax. He played 37 games last season. He'll probably play in and around the same this season, and he's not going to start as many games as you think because we don't necessarily need him to start every game.
And if he wants to start, go steal someone's spot. And I would actually say one thing I like about Ethan and Max Down. I know Max is younger, but Ethan, Max Dowman. I say Lewis Skelly, but we kind of had to rely on you last season. It's very different from when Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, where yeah, they were young, but it quickly got beyond them being young. You're just the only players we believe in. We didn't believe in your previous teammates. It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because you do need to take time with Wanyeri. He is developing physically. He is trying to bring consistency.
Let me
Arteta
show
does
you.
have to balance and find him minutes. But at least until January, the very earliest, you can't do any of these conclusions, man. Before present in the screen, remove other media streams from. Okay, wait, bring yours back. Okay,
That's the image, and all he said was, "Nah, Waneri," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
he's a cold player, but tranquillo, man. He's down in the pecking order. I was a bit upset to not see him against Newcastle, but Marino's preferred from a tactical point of view. You've got Odegaard, you've got Eze. Players are going to be left out. Take your chances. As I said on my stream earlier today, yeah, the first stream I did before I had you on, you might have to loan him out in January if he's not playing. I want him to have the bit between his teeth, but put your mind back to last August, yeah? Last August, so the start of the last season. If you told, you could say Miles Lewis Kelly, but if you told Ethan you're going to play 30, 37 games, back against City, play in the Champions League, forgive me if I'm wrong, score in the Champions League, bite your arm off. I want Ethan to be upset because you've got close to getting an England call up, one of the first names on the team sheet, but you need to get up to speed. I've said this to you before, Egal. I think the one thing Ethan needs to do, whatever Martin Odegaard has in like brought into his game that Arteta wants from him, like the pressing and all that, learn all of that. Because right now you're not going to get a run in the side. You're going to get minutes. There's a lot of games, man. I want Ethan to be vexed. I want every player to be vexed. Go and give Mikel Arteta problems. Oh, I can't leave Lewis Skelly out. Let me put him in midfield. No, I've got Rice and Zubamendi. I need to get Wanyeri. What am I going to do with Eze? Put Eze out there. Martinelli's playing so good. What's happening there? I want to get Kai into the fold, but no, I've got Gyökeres. I'm not dropping Saka, but exaggeration. Madueke's playing great. We need this. There's opportunity. The man's 18, but I do want to see him play more. But just
But he was up
tranquilo,
there.
man.
He played majority of the game versus Port Vale. He came on versus Man City. If I'm not mistaken, he played majority of the game versus was it Nottingham Forest or Leeds when Odegaard got injured? Leeds when Odegaard got injured. I don't know if he started versus Nottingham Forest. He didn't.
No, I come
What
off the bench.
he came
Odegaard
off
got
the
hurt
bench
again.
versus
That was the
Nottingham Forest.
second game Odegaard had
He
the
played.
shoulder.
He's gotten a lot of minutes already. Don't forget the kid's 18 years
I
old.
do think Dalman's preferred more as a right winger than him. I think Dalman's overlapped him in the right wing thing. I'll be real.
No.
Then
They're
when
different positions. Dalman is specifically the third choice right winger, and Ethan's supposed to be the second choice attacking midfielder. But what's happened is Eze has played so well when he came on for
you really think Ethan's second?
Ethan right now is supposed to be second in
Odegaard, Eze, for Mikel Arteta, Marino. Can't forget
Eze.
Kai being an option there.
No, but Eze is such a maverick. He's going to be first choice in two positions. If anything, he's first choice left winger.
But then
He's
on the
first
right,
choice.
you had Saka. Well, you got Saka, you got Madueke. I don't really want to include them, but you do have the Jesus, the Trossards, the Martinellis. All of them can move to the right. Ethan was probably high up there. For me, I think the manager at some point will go to Ethan. You've got, and again, like Egal said earlier, when we're just trying to get over the line and all of that. So don't let that go over your head. But I think it might get to the point with Arteta. He's just gonna say, "Fuck it, I'm gonna throw you in. You got 5 games. By game week 5, show me a base level of performance. If you play amazing in your first game, don't get excited. If you play terrible, don't think it's done." But this is what we wanted. The man's 18, man. And if he really didn't believe he stood a chance here, he would have signed a new deal. He wouldn't have, sorry.
He just signed a new deal, and there's already people saying he hates Arteta. He hates the club. He wants to leave on loan.
Because
What
these
the hell?
things sound good, Egal. They sound it. It's not the reality. And even if he does, even if that is the case, let's go down their route, Egal. Let's assume this is true. Let's assume this is true. Wanyeri hates Arteta. Let's assume it's true. How do you know that? Tell me how you know that. Do you know Ethan? Do you know his dad?
They hate Arteta. That's probably why.
He's like, don't tell me his dad, the barber's girlfriend's dog owner told me this. I don't want to hear no whispers. Tell me how you know that. Don't say sources like they do with transfers. How do you know that? Because if you know that and you show me, I'm a fair man, fair play. I don't think any player is happy to be on the bench, not even Dowman. But games are there. If you don't want to be left on the bench, make yourself indispensable. Raya, indispensable. Saka, indispensable. Saliba, Gabriel, indispensable. Timber, indispensable. There's been players who have previously been that. Just do your thing, man. He wants to play, but there was also times where Wanyeri didn't take all of his chances. And the one thing for Wanyeri, you've got to learn to affect the game over 90 minutes, which, as Egal said, when he came on against Forest and Leeds, he is getting that. But we need to take time because these are the same people that crying for him to play every game. When he gets that run, and evidently he does what young players do, where you're just woeful, what are they going to say, bro? You know what they're going to say.
But the comparison I got was actually DJB. Shout out to him.
Big up DJB.
He said,
what does he call it? He calls him Ethan Smith Rowe. Big up DJB.
Yeah, he calls him Ethan Smith Rowe to take the piss.
You never know. These things could be right. But I think it's too easy, too early for that.
Basically saying he's going to go down the same route as Smith Rowe and end up getting sold because he's not going to play as much minutes. And I'm like, there is a big difference. Smith Rowe got injured for a big portion of that. And it's like, are we just gonna ignore that? Like, act like that wasn't part of the reason why he got sold. Anyways, Chelsea spent $2 billion, and I'm not gonna lie to you, Ethan would start for them, and for us, he doesn't even get close.
The time's coming, Ethan, man. And to be fair, we're to only want to see Ethan after we go 3 goals up. When you should be starting against relegation candidates this season. He'll get his starts. He will 100% get his starts. I must admit, I was disappointed he didn't come off the bench yesterday. But I've also said I agree with it. I agree with it because, again, the first thing we need to do is grab 3 points, whether that's in the Champions League, whether that's in the Prem. As I was kind of saying, and the gal said the same thing, we all know in the first half of the game against Olympiacos, we should have scored 3-4. Second half, they came out a bit better, but we was dominating, we was doing our thing, we was having a bag of chances, bottom line, not putting daylight between them. Had we have done that, I think Ethan comes on. But when it's that little 1-1, you do have in the back of your mind, it might not be our day to get more. And obviously at 1-0, you are thinking about, things might happen. So I understand Saka, which the change made the difference. Obviously, Saka started on the right, Eze started on the left, they swapped and he bagged. I understand that. I understand Timber needed to come on. I get all of that. And I want Wanyeri to be upset because when you get your chance in a positive way, put 2 middle fingers up at the gaffer. Make the gaffer question, what I should be playing you. And that goes for all of these players. As much as I wish we lived in a world where all the young players play, Gyökeres is scoring, Eze and Odegaard were finding synergy, all this shit comes secondary. Grab my points. Get me my trophy. Then I care about feelings and shit. That's just me anyways.
You know something? We win one trophy, it's peak for a lot of people. We win the Champions League. I think a lot of people are just going to say to themselves, we've treated Arsenal unfair for the last couple of years. And now they're going to say to themselves, you know what? Everything that they were doing for the last couple of years now looks like there was a reason behind it. As much as they're going to start talking about Saka's injuries, they're going to talk about Saliba's injuries, they're going to start talking about how we weren't even supposed to be this good in 2022, 2023, and everything's going to all make sense. But until we get over the line, everything is not part of the story yet. The story's being written, but once we win a trophy, it will actually be remembered.
Just win trophies, fuck everyone else, man. If you're not connected to Arsenal, don't want to hear nothing about you lot because you what are they gonna do? Oh, you only won one and da. You lot do that. I'll be like, okay, is that what they do with the Invincibles? Oh, the Invincibles aren't that good. They had 12 draws. That's great. Did they lose a game? Am I happy they won? You lot leave the debate.
I was going a different route. I was going the route of the fan base, what we would remember, because I feel like all within our fan base, I feel like there's a portion of the fan base that view the last 3 years as a nightmare. And then there's a portion of
it's not a nightmare. It's a missed opportunity, and it's nothing to be waffling positively about. But it's a missed opportunity, and man can't behave that we're rubbish.
I view the last 2 years as a learning curve.
Mighty Ducks thing.
Yeah, you're learning. You've gotten to a point where now you have the battle wounds. You know the pain of losing.
I can't lie, Gal. The first year we fought for the title, that's the only year I think you're learning. The second 2 years, I don't think you got the job done. But go on.
No. You never got the job done. You never got the job done. You're right. But at the same time, what happened? But at the same time, everything was like everything came down to two things for me: inexperience, lack of squad depth, and everyone wants to blame the
Heavy on
manager,
the lack of squad depth.
and everyone wants to blame the manager for that. Now that we don't have the lack of squad depth and we have the experience, we don't win it. Everyone was right about the manager, and if we do win it, then everyone has to shut their mouths about the manager and start thinking Mikel Arteta, he knows exactly what we need. Because that's all I'm asking. It's gonna be the key to get onto a stream with me from now on. If you're an Arteta outer, you have to sing that song.
I'll tell you, you have to win it, man. You have to win something. Like, ideally, the Premier League champs. Like Arsenal's name needs to be engraved on something.
Bro,
Where it's a big opportunity.
the Premier League and the champs could happen this year. Both.
Huh?
We could. We're that good. We could compete for both.
Yeah, calm down, man. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. I
We're
hope so.
Bro, we went against Real
So you're
Madrid.
saying we can win the Prem and the champs?
If we had Gabriel Magalhaes last year for those two legs versus PSG, do we win?
You never.